Alright, honestly I don't know where I'm gonna go with this video. Actually I know where I'm gonna go. Hold on. We're gonna edit this part out. So boom. I've come to the conclusion that we're going to fall in love with the process. Now what does that mean? Essentially, we're gonna take the time to actually learn and understand our system and improve our strategy. Now, I call this systematic trading art. What I've noticed is me consciously and actively pursuing and passing evaluations, passing prop firms, and searching for that payout put me in a mindset where my psychology was more focused on monetary goals. And what I noticed is being focused on monetary goals is not the way to achieve financial freedom when it comes to trading. You want to put yourself in a position where you love the process, where you're enjoying becoming the everyday trader. Now, you may hear the waves in the background, whatever. Currently, we're sitting on the lake just clearing our thoughts. It's a Sunday. Market doesn't open tomorrow because of Labor Day, but we're just clearing our mindset. I chose to switch to paper trading because, as I said earlier, we'll actually be testing our model, and I know every single day that I won't be making money. I literally won't have nothing to strive for when it comes to this paper trading other than the process. So I'm putting my mind into a state to where monetary goals are non-existent. We'll be taking the time to actively pursue every single day the journey of becoming profitable through learning our systems, learning our executions, and just becoming better overall. Now, even though they're paper trades, we still will currently be journaling them to understand where our faults lie and bettering our systems. The time span I set for myself, I don't know if this is 100% yet, but I think I want to do 6 months of this. So I started this August 28th. It's currently August 31st, and it will end February 28th in exactly 6 months. People call this winter arc, whatever. We've been locked in since January this year. So it's not necessarily an arc, it's just paper trading arc. I don't know where I want to go with this, but the goal is to eventually leave the job, become self-employed. Currently we work a 9 to 5 and then we trade as our 5 to 9. It's not necessarily a 9 to 5, it's really a 7 p.m. to 7 in the morning before market opens. And then we take time after market opens to understand trading. We try to pass evals, but currently I'm switching back to paper trading, as I said earlier. I feel like everybody strives to eventually quit their 9 to 5. Everybody strives to eventually, become self-employed. And what I noticed is there's a lot of different things that come with that. Finding time to do stuff outside of the charts, finding time to enjoy life around you instead of being so cooped up and locked in. When you first start, that's a good thing because that's how you get off the ground. But once you take flight, it's like, where do I go from there? And that's the journey we're currently on. So the goals I've set for this 6-month period is to become successful at execution. I want to turn an 100K demo account into 160 grand, and that will prove to me that I'm actually profitable in my system over the course of these next 6 months. Once I'm able to do that, even if it's earlier, we could potentially switch back to evals and understand the psychology behind losing money. Now, I chose to do this because of, what was his name? Hold on, I'll go grab his name. There's a day trader that goes by the name of Justin Werland, and he talks heavily about the psychology behind trading and what it actually takes to be in a profitable mindset. Now, I was listening to one of his just talking videos, unfiltered, unedited, and he talked heavily about him switching shifting his mentality from monetary goals to a systematic process, goal-based thought process. And his way of doing this was switching back to paper trading, understanding that it requires more focus on enjoying the process, because at the end of the day, if you're profitable, you'll end up gaining profits. So why be so focused on the money? He talks about this thing called the Tao mindset, being an observer and only reacting to what happens to you. So when we enter the market, we're basically just observing the charts. Instead of looking for a trade, instead of searching for a day to trade and you end up taking something shitty, you want to observe the market. You want to see where the market is going and then place your bets on wherever you're observing the markets, observing where the market will go. React based off of the market's actions, not off of your own thought process. There's a lot of creators I've been watching recently, such as PB Trading and TJR, and they talk about how you need a story behind why you're trading. essentially this means is like where you're setting your TP, where you're setting your stop losses. And I'm starting to slowly understand that. And through evals, we're learning the psychology of losing money. But it's like, I feel like I should be more in love with the process, more in love with the system, because when you're focused on the monetary goals and you're not seeing it happen soon enough, you become so like, you become such in a state of mind to where you feel as if you're failing and you feel like you're falling behind. When in reality, like, I gotta understand, I'm only like 2 months into this journey. I think I started back in June 25th. It's now August 28th. Sorry about the waves, you can hear that. But honestly, we're taking our time. I understand patience with this journey. And like, I do see where we're coming from. When I look back on this, bro, like 2 months ago, I couldn't even tell you what a stop loss was. I couldn't even tell you what a TP or a take profit was. And honestly, time and time again, it changes your mind. Constantly fluctuating with your emotions and understanding yourself. It is dope going through this process, I can't lie. And I know that it'll all pay out in the end. That's why I spend hours cooped up. I spend hours in the home, at the house, studying the chart, watching the educational content on trading. I can't lie to you. I even watch them videos where they're buying their dream cars, where they're vlogging their day as a day trader. And I understand it. Like, I could see the vision so vividly. This is why I chose to switch back to paper trading. Because in the end, it doesn't feel like I'm falling behind. It feels like I'm just learning how to become a day trader instead of searching for that payout, that gambling mindset. Because I'm starting to look at it from a broader perspective. I'm only 18. Before, I always felt like I was falling behind. I'm seeing all these 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds getting millions of dollars online from the online money, and then like buying their dream cars early on. And I'm realizing everybody's on their own process. Everybody's on their own journey. So I just started taking a lot of that shit with a grain of salt. Started documenting my own journey, just taking it step by step, learning the process, and realizing I've got time. Not falling into a comfort mindset, but more of like just being patient with this journey. I see everybody, it took them at least a year, but they've also switched between multiple different strategies, multiple different systems and charts, indexes, such as Forex or indices. And what I'm noticing is like, since the beginning, I've been in futures. Since the beginning, I've been a day trader. I've only traded options once, and that's where I made profit at, but I'm not sticking to options. I've been more focused on futures. And I know it just takes time with this process. I'm still very new, even though I've been doing stocks since like 16 through Cash App. Day trading is a different beast, and we're just taking time. I don't know where I want to go with this video. This is another one of those just unfiltered gap sessions, but honestly, this shit is going well. I can see a future with this, and I really just made this channel to document my journey, to show y'all where I've come from and what it really takes to go through all this. You gotta be willing to not quit when it gets hard, to not give up, to not switch your strategy, not change to options, to not, just give up. Actually stay focused, stay locked in, to know that all the stuff that you're doing right now, even though it feels like it isn't paying off, it will pay off. Taking time out of your day every day to better yourself. You listen to a lot of successful people, and they say a big excuse a lot of people have is they don't have the time for it. When in reality, if you wanted it that bad, you would make time for it. Like, I remember PV Trading said he was taking extra classes in college. He had a 9 to 5, and he would literally set an alarm for 2 a.m. just to trade London session, and then go back to sleep and go to school, getting like 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep every single night. And sometimes it just takes dedication to get to where you need to get to. I was watching Aval earlier, and he talked about how he was invited to the Kill Tech party, but he chose not to go, even though he looked up to all these people. He's been watching them since like middle school for years now, and it's like now he's at a point to where it doesn't feel real that he's getting invited to these places. And eventually I could see myself doing that. Not to be on no like arrogant shit, but like honestly, you gotta have that unwavering belief in yourself. Earlier today I was talking to a close friend of mine, and he mentioned how like he seen a Lambo. He said it was kind of unreal to him, and that it was like a once in a lifetime thing. And I told him right there and then that this is not a once in a lifetime thing. You have to see yourself and envision yourself doing this every single day. It's not like I just get up and doubt every single thing I do and then continue to push forward. In reality, I don't. To achieve something great, you have to be able to envision it in your mind before you already have it. You have to have the mindset of a millionaire before you become a millionaire. And honestly, you have to defy everything around you. You ever see those stories of like people being the black sheep, the black swan, or any of those things? You gotta understand, like, you have to go against the flow, go against the current. And I don't know about y'all, but I do watch anime. I do, take the time watching things. And like, I've been rewatching AOT recently. I'm all over the place with this one, but like, there's a couple characters in the story, Aaron, and then right now I'm at the beginning where they find out Annie is the female Titan. And essentially, how I'm correlating this is she talked about how she just wants to be normal, she wants to go with the flow. But Aaron, somebody whose arrogance going against the current, wants to change the world. It takes a different level of mindset to where people might not understand you. People will doubt you. People will expect you to fail. But in reality, you have to persist through these doubts, these persist through these negative connotations of you, and just continue forward and strive as much as you can. Never giving up. Bro, have unwavering belief in yourself. It's your life, my guy. It's your dreams, it's your goals, it's your aspirations. Why do you care about what others have to say about it? Why do you care so much about what other people think of what you're doing? See me right now? I've chose not to go to college. I've chose just to work a 9 to 5 for now, just to fund my trading, because I have so much belief in plan A that plan B is to succeed in plan A. And that's what I have to say for now. I ventured off of the topic of what today's video, but yeah, we started our paper trading arc. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I think today or tomorrow I'm gonna release a video on me going over my journal for last week, my trading journal. This is my first week journaling trades ever, and we're gonna also use AI analysis to go over that as well. What I've been doing recently is I'll journal my trades, I'll look over it myself, I'll put my own thoughts and influences onto the paper, and then I would also print it into AI and see what AI has to say about it too. I'm trying to start a new wave of journaling when it comes to this trading stuff with AI's influences and improving where I lack at. Not my strategy, because I know my strategy comes from me, it's what makes sense to me, but also improving the psychology behind why I'm taking my trades, if I'm following my plans, and where AI think I can improve when it comes to mentality aspect of trading. This is getting kind of long. I'm gonna have a lot to edit, but yeah, just had a quick yap session with y'all on the lake. Honestly, I'm just here to show y'all that, like, I'm just here to show y'all where I start and where I will eventually be. You know, I want to have these videos on the YouTube page so that when people are in the same position as me or watching my videos later on in the future and want to know how I got to where I got to, I want y'all to be able to see, you know, the days I was unprofitable, the days I was just like a regular civilian. Like, of course, when you get to a point, you're still regular, but it's like people idolize you. People put you in a position of as if you're some greater being, when in reality, you're just human too. I feel like once you come to the perspective that those who are successful are as human as you, they've just went through different triumphs and overcame obstacles that you haven't overcome to become the person they are, is when you start to actually take action. And I want these videos to be proof that I'm just like you guys. I started at the beginning. I started as an unprofitable trader, and it took me a while to become profitable, but I placed systems and I followed my plan. I journaled every day, and I understood what it takes to become profitable, And that's why I release these videos. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. And yeah, stay tuned for that journal review and Market Tuesday this week. So I'll see you guys then on my live recaps as well. I'm out. Peace.